Hello everyone, so I guess we'll be talking about Air. Usually I don't really make any video about Aerofest, but I guess this time I will, because we have a new character on one. Okay. I'll be also talking about the 3.0 version update and my thoughts on it, also as the Faye channel. But let me preface this by saying this. I do not despise the story itself, but 3.0 itself, as an update, is probably the least good update we've had of all time. It's actually horrible. It managed to completely destroy a mode and basically add nothing else, for the most part. That's good. Anyway, let's start. Now, Hair herself is not great. That B skill was sorely needed for a while and actually make a few characters very useful. Alm comes to mind, because Alm has double lion in his weapon, so if he attacks, he heals back to full. If he kills with the first 2 hit, which is why you should be running Death Blow 4 if you're running this, then yeah, there you go. Another good example is attack speed push can really make use of this. Yeah. It's just a really good skill as combo with those skills. Now, here's the problem they run into is, first off, that's a B skill. That's a B skill. So say you have Desperation on someone, you can have that. If you're running on a character that doesn't have a lot of bulk, or is not meant to deal with dragons, you can't run that, because Desperation will just do you better. And honestly, the comparison I'm going to make from Air to someone else doesn't even use Mystic Boost, and is just as good. Now, Swift Sparrow, this is the 12th unit with it. Only one guy has it, apparently, also, which is kind of stupid. Sparkling Boost is really strong, though. It is really weird. It's just basically run a wall to whoever took the most damage in total. Which is great and bad. It's bad because it's only 10 HP to 1 unit. And I guess it heals multiple unit if multiple unit have the same amount of HP lost. But let's put it this way. Say I would be running her with Brave Celica, and I would be running those two with, say, my Brave Bo George and my Olivia, who tends to just KO with the first 2 hits anyway. Or I could use a different dancer, so I could use Tactics. The only character of this team that actually take damage by itself is Brave Celica, so then Sparkling Boost would heal it back up, which means you can use double Lion a lot more than just once, and she's a better fighter than if you have a healer in some regards. Because you don't have to lose your turn to heal. You heal automatically at the start of a turn. But even then, it's kind of iffy, if I'm being completely honest. Fallen Celica can make use of this a lot as well. You can make her as a mixed tank that could really abuse Sparkling Boost if you're using her as like the only fighter of the team with Beloved Zofia. But outside of those two, there's really no one. Obviously there's Alm, but Alm prefers using Mystic Boost anyway, because honestly, what else are you running as his B? Like, Wind Sweep is an option if you run attack speed push. Wind Sweep is an option, but outside of that, it's kinda eh. Like, I use Hit and Run on mine. That's just how much utility I have out of this. Now, what about the weapon itself? The weapon is good and bad. The problem is, it's a really good weapon if it was on anything but a dagger unit. The problem is that it's on a dagger unit. So, yeah, her stat spread is not bad, her def is horrible, obviously, and her HP is also very bad. She actually shares the same amount of bulk when it comes down to defense to another character who has the lowest HP in the entire game, namely Elise. Yes, Elise is about as bulky as Air. Boy, that's sad. The problem, though, is that Elise can actually use Blessing to boost her own health. Air can't. Okay, well, I guess you can use Flyer buffs. That's still only 55 bulk. That is shaky as fucking shit. No matter how you put it, it's extremely shaky. So that's another problem. Lithia Berg actually also just, you know, give 3 res, which is the least important stat, but at least it lets her run ploys as her C and seal if you don't care about sparkling boost. So I guess there's that. The debuff to def and res, nothing new there. Now the thing that really makes this weapon somewhat good, I say somewhat good because the drawback is really bad. If her HP is over 50%, she gets 4 attack and 4 speed, then takes 4 damage. Now, obviously this is meant to be used with Mystic Boost, because you heal back for 2 anyway. Here's the problem with this. Can't really run this with Desperation. So that's already a problem. The second problem is if you're dealing with, oh, I don't know, if you're dealing with a dragon. Yes, I know Mystic Boost destroys the adaptive damage effect. That doesn't change anything though. You have 34 res. If you're dealing with someone that has enough attack to kick you down to half HP, your weapon's a dead weapon. It's basically a silver dagger refined to res without the HP. She has 34 res, so even if you go with, I'll say, a res tactic or 45 flyer, you have a total of 40 res, dude. With 35 health. The second you get kicked down by something with 58 attack, which is attainable by a neutral Grima buffed by a oh-ho of the fire variety, I'm sorry, you're completely useless then. And you'll probably fail to kill and you'll still get killed anyway. That's another problem. Her attack is low. Like, even with Swift Sparrow and Lithia Berg, she's still going to be sitting at what? 54 attack? That's okay. 60 with own flyers, which is too hard to get anyway, so attack tactic most likely is going to be what you rely on. Okay. The problem though is it hits defense. Now, I'm not too sure if Sorcery Blade can be used on flyer. Probably not, knowing how it's always going, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. Let me actually just verify with Illiger. Might as well. Nope, can't use it. It's infantry only. There goes that. So your healing defense, if you're dealing with any of the relevant dragons, they tend to have 30 to 40 defense. Killing them in one round is damn near impossible. So you're going to have to deal with 2 hits, making you useless after the first fight in 90% of the cases. That's a problem. I don't think I have to explain why that's a problem. So yeah, this is kind of what it is, huh? It's really a shame because I get the idea behind this. It's just the worst type of unit you could have picked for this. If she had been a mage, that would have been fantastic. Like, legitimately a really good unit. Because you'd be hitting the lower stat between the two, you'd be able to most likely kill most units. If she was a red dagger unit, you could at least do somewhat well also, because you could be able to deal with the Grima matchup a bit easier. But as it is, it's kind of shaky. And it's even worse when you put the comparison into perspective. Let's get to it, shall we? Not many other character I can really use for a comparison here, can I? But Kagero has 1 more HP and 4 more def. Now, the part that makes this important is the fact that she doesn't need Air's B slot. She already hits 18 def plus 36 HP, so if you add an extra 6 def because 45 flyer, that's 60 bulk. And that's without, you know, refining her weapon, because that's actually most likely what you'll have to do. You don't have a pref. And also that's something you'll probably have to do with Air because of her piss poor bulk. So, at the end of the day, if you say refine it to death on Kagero, which you probably don't, you refine it to speed, but let's just say that you have 65 bulk. A plus 10 Grima is starting to struggle to kill you. Let that sink in. The one thing that Hair has that Kagero doesn't is deploy capability and the slight heal support that she can give, but it is very lackluster. She very much feels like Fjorm, the very underwhelming kind of character, but that can have some potential, kinda. The problem is really just her movement. That kind of stat line is fine if she was a mage. That's just basically what it is. So yeah, Kagero with a speed refine now. You're sitting at 63 bulk. 63. With very little buffs. Very accessible buffs. So yeah, already there you're kind of shitting all over air, but then on top of it you have an extra 3 attack, and with a speed refine you have 1 less speed. So basically you're arguably better stat-wise, it's just that as long as you're over 50% on Hair, you are superior to Kagero offensively speaking. The problem is keeping that offense. You need a healer. Kagero doesn't. Kagero can just go Desperation and not give a shit. So Kagero is just innately superior because she works in multiple team comp, whereas Air is just luck to having a healer. Unless you're running 2 Airs, I guess. Because then they can heal each other, I guess? But why would you run 2 of her? Outside of, you know, Aether Raid, the mode that she completely ruined. But yeah. So as a unit, I'd say she's completely inferior to Kagero. I'll be completely honest here. She just has less versatility than Kagero can have. She works on less teams and just struggles overall as a character. Shame, really. Alright. So, next up, let's talk about raids and also mythic blessings. And the schedule, why don't we? Oh, blessings, blessings, blessing. Why do you exist? So, in case you didn't know, Aether Raid were completely ruined by this. Light and Dark Blessing increases your scoring range, essentially. And to put it simply, it can buff it up by like 50% if you're a whale. Which I'm not okay with. That's way too much to begin with, and should not have been a thing to begin with anyway. Like, this is just a mistake. No matter how you put it, that's just a mistake. The other thing I want to point out is, this is an Hero Fest banner. So yeah, those are the rates of the legendary units. Not the legendary unit, of the characters on the banner. Yeah, they're pretty high. I would still not suggest pulling on this banner, just because we're going to get 3 more Light Blessing units. And I'll be completely honest, Light Blessing units are not great. Here's 2 things I want to point out. The blessing that buffs your HP and res only works in Aether Raids. So it's basically a better blessing overall because it gives more, but it only works in 1 game mode. So yeah, like legendary units are just better in general because you can use them everywhere for that bonus, even Aether Raids. Now, if you're talking about gaining more points, yeah. Also, I did point out Light and Dark increases it. You know why? Because they thought it was a good idea to also introduce Astra and Anima. Like, Light, Dark, Anima makes sense because that's the combat triangle of magic, but Astra makes no sense here. But the point is, Astra and Anima reduces your lift loss if, you know, it's the corresponding season. Yeah. That looks fine. That feels completely fine. I have no problem with this. No. No. ISY. But, well, what else to say? This even schedule feels like it looks back, but how much of it is there? Well, let's see. We don't have a login bonus whatsoever for the second wave of special hero units. Yeah, no, we have one for the special heroes coming out on the 17th, but we don't have any for the special heroes coming out on the 31st. I'm guessing because it's based on the voting gauntlet. Still, why? We have 2 Tempest Trial this month. That's good. That's 84 orbs. We have a revival of Hector and Matthew. No one cares. Bound Hero Battle, Klein and Clarion. Yeah, that's 9 orbs. 5 orbs from Hector and Matthew. Great. Who cares? Illusory Dungeon. That's to be expected. Linus was obvious. We're going to get Wallheart next month and Jamkey the month after. Again, very obvious. It's always in the same pattern. Forging Bonds on the 10th. Great. Great. Do I really care? Not really. New Heroes on the 10th is probably going to be Radiant Dawn. So if you like Radiant Dawn, don't give a shit about the tickets. I'm going to get over the tickets. But the point is, save your orbs. Okay? That's as obvious as this is. Legendary Banners and Legendary Hero Battle are now twice the length, and they last 2 weeks. That's a good change. Tree Princess Quest is most likely going to be Worthless Sharina, Useless Fjorm, and slightly decent Air quests. So, probably not interesting. I kind of want to see Sharina being, you know, substituted by Veronica, which should be given to us for free at this point. She is not worth being a banner unit, I'm sorry. She's a slightly better Bowie, and that's it. With a weapon that's not really great either, not at this point of time. Bruno also is showing too much of his age. Not worth to be on a banner either, and should be given for free. So we have 2 Tempest Trial, Life is but fleeting, and an Alliance of Princesses. I'm guessing maybe we'll get Veronica on that Tempest Trial, the second one. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna have to wait, honestly. The schedule just really doesn't have much to it, does it? One thing I want to say though, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but we might stop getting orbs from login bonus. I know that they say like you can receive orb up to 10 times to each login. I hope that's true, but with what Eurofest did, and that should have just been like a 13 orbs or 20 orbs, which I would have been pretty happy to spend elsewhere than on that shitty Eurofest, because I'll be honest, I don't care about Blue Flame, I don't care about Wrath, I don't care about Special Spiral, except on one character, which I don't have the right IVs anyway, and IV fishing for a 5-star exclusive is not good. I don't care about Ophelia, except for a rally attack up plus, just for scoring, really nothing else. And Air I kind of want to get a second copy for a B skill for Deirdre and Julia, which I forgot to mention, but Deirdre and Julia are also really good with those skills with close counter. I just thought I'd point that out because they negate buffs, unlike Air. So there's also that, and the fact that, you know, Legendary Tiki exists. The problem with those skills though is you can't run no follow-up to get rid of, you know, Bold Fighter and stuff, which again is another problem, but I mean, what else isn't a problem at this point? Now let's talk about version 3.0. I have not many things to say about this. It is not great. So, this whole thing with, you know, Hell and Air, I don't know quite yet. I haven't done the chapter yet. I don't understand why Loki is now on our side. Or is that the other world's Loki coming from Forging Bonds? I have no idea, but I guess she's cool now. Whoop. What? Okay. So, okay. This is Leaf. Though actually, I believe they actually talk about him a bit later. Trazir as well. I really like Leaf and Trazir's inclusion in this, because they are meant to be the first ruler of Embla and Asker. Those two make sense. I like, and they can do so much with those characters. Hell, well, less so than you know, Leif and Trazir. Blah, it's really hard to pronounce. But you can do something with it. Air, I believe, is also the child of what's her name? Hell. But you know. Honestly, the story is the best part about this, and that's really sad to say. Like, this is a good setting. I can see a lot of things that IS can do right with this setting. The problem is, it is IS, and they tend to fucking kill everything they touch. Speaking of, I know that most people don't know about the whole AAA crash thing going on, but most of the AAA, you know, the AAA studio have been losing and losing and losing investors, and I feel like Nintendo might just be part of that thing, because at this point it's been really ridiculous how much it feels like Nintendo is pushing Fire Emblem Heroes to do as much money as they can. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. But if that's the case, Nintendo, just stop killing everything you touch, please. You're being like EA. Fantastic artwork, by the way. I really do like that artwork. Air, the Fjorm of this chapter. I just hope one thing about Air, that she won't get the same problem as Fjorm ends up having. Fjorm was a character that was introduced to us at the start of the book. Okay, and she had a more or less good introduction. The problem is, she did fuck all in the entire book. The only thing she did is the Ritual of Frost, or the Frost Ritual, or whatever it is, to harm Surtur, except Guntra also was said to have done it herself. So what gives? Like, Guntra actually is the character that did the most shit in Book 2. She's the one that died. Hello? Like, Illiger's, the only thing that Illiger did, okay, was introduce Elbindi and push his character a bit. Rid was there just to say, by the way, I exist, I guess, at the end of the book. Fjorm was there to be useless from start to finish, basically. And apparently having a vengeance story and really wanting to kill Surtur for what he did to her, you know, to her homeland and her family. How many people actually remember that part? Because she never spoke about it in the entirety of the book, except at the very end she was like, my vengeance is finally complete and I feel empty. And it's like, should we care? You gave us no reason to care. So I just hope Air is not going to end up the same. I expect it, sadly, but we'll see. Hell is a pretty cool design. I'm actually surprised she was not over-sexualized, because obviously she's a woman. And that's what they tend to do with most of the, you know, women. So, Leaf and Trazir. Obviously, one is meant to look like Veronica, and the other one is meant to look like Leaf, but, you know, edgier. It makes me laugh when people are like, oh, but you see the... what's the fucking bone around the hips of Trazir? But can you just not see everything else? Like, you can see the entire ribcage here. You see absolutely everything. They're literally like skeletons in gelatins. Like, you can see the entire femur here. And you don't see this one unless you're in the attacking art. You see the entire rib cage and the bones all around the arms as well. The only thing that looks human is their face. But yeah, it's a pretty cool combo. I do like both of them, honestly. They can do so much with them, like I said. I just hope they don't blue it. Which, knowing I as they probably will. Also, ironically enough, those two were the people in Norse mythology who watched and saw the happening of Ragnarok and were the only two humans still alive. And then they fought to repopulate. Let that one sink in. I don't expect that to be talked about, though. The enemy! Okay, enough of that. Update info. Ooh, a new season has been added! I'm sure everyone is stoked about the fact that Aether Raid, the last mode that we saw that actually had, you know, success to be ruined by the system, but, you know, it's... This is really my problem with 3.0, is it kind of just killed the fun of certain modes for the sake of killing the fun of certain modes. Like, I know Evenus has literally uninstalled the game because that was just the straw that broke the camel's back. So, there's that. Another problem I have with this is that they specify that those will be godlike figures instead of legendary units, which... What are you doing? That means the one good thing I had in mind when I saw this was, ooh, light means we might get an alt for, well, Seliph. His role is literally the heir of light. And then you have like, which is a mistranslation of Scion of Light, I believe. And then you have also, you know, you have Julius, which is the Scion of Darkness. Those two could have had alts with Loptus getting an actual weapon that doesn't suck. You know? I would have been cool. I would have been happy about this. But instead what they decided to do was make it exclusive to godlike figure, which I have no clue what that means, but all I know is it's just some random main characters, so probably not gonna happen, and a main antagonist. Also Astra, who is more fitting to the Astra than fucking Ira? She introduced Astra to the series. Everyone who have Astra in FE4 and FE5 has it because of her, because she teaches this to Shannon, who then teaches it to Marita in Trachea. And she also teaches it to her own kids. She's the only character in Gen 1 that has Astra. She has an exclusive Astra skill. I believe her title is something like the Astra's Wielder in Heroes as well. Like, what else would make more sense as an Astra hero? But no, apparently that's not godlike, therefore it's probably not gonna happen. That's dumb. This does mean we might get Naga as a hero from Mythic Light, but honestly, I see no character I'll be plus-10ing from this bunch of heroes. It's just not worth it. Mythic heroes are a mistake. They are completely a fucking mistake, anyway. Hero Fest! Whoa! The worst way to include a new Hero Fest by adding new characters! Whoa! At least it's better than on a 3% banner, but my god. So, okay, let's talk about this. Tybarn. Tybarn and Nayla has been confirmed. Those were cool moves, but that's nothing to it has nothing to do with 30.0, so who cares? Now, tickets. Oh, tickets. This sounds cool out of context. The problem I have with this is if they change login bonus to bonus giving tickets. Because at the end of the day, if you don't care about the banner, you'll still have to, you know, use those tickets on said banner. Yeah, you can get a 5-star, but at the end of the day, the point of those tickets is to bait players into spending their orbs. Because, oh, I've already spent the most expensive one, so if the circle is good, I could actually, you know, waste orbs on this and maybe get a 5-star I want. More or less. And I've seen it working. It makes sense. But, see, here's the thing. Hero Fest should be giving 20 orbs, not tickets. I would be happy with getting 20 orbs. The tickets gives me nothing. Like, at best, I get Rally Attack Plus fodder, or Special Spiral fodder, if I even decide to kill Lewin, because I honestly want to plus 10 him down the line. Or, I guess, Wrath or Blue Flame fodder. Like, it's not worth it. I don't see the point of it. Plus, sending Air is not worth it. She's not a good unit overall, after all, so I'll pass. But, you know, you can't even use the argument of it saves you 35 orbs, because it's not a banner you would summon otherwise. If that's the case, anyway. So I hope they go back to the orbs every time. But that second bonus for orbs, it makes me afraid. It makes me afraid to see what direction this is gonna go. We don't need less orbs. Let's just put it that way. It's not a bad move per se, but considering they are tied to a singular banner and you can't use them anywhere else, well, that's a problem. Forging Bond giving them, that's fine. Just don't make them login bonus. They should be a bonus rather than them taking over something else. So here they announced Tybarn and Nayla. So as you can see, Tybarn changes in his Aug form, that makes sense. He gets free movement, and we can also see Nayla at the bottom. So here's what it seems to be. Nayla will be a even turn character, and Tybarn will be an odd turn character. AKA, you will become an Aug on odd turns, and Nayla will become a wolf on even turns. That's not great. I'll be completely honest, that's not great, but it's better than nothing. Though it seems like Nayla might not be a 2-turn, unless it changes after she moves. But I don't see that. So it might be something like the first 2 turns doesn't transform or something like that. I have no clue actually. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I do like what they did with his art at the very least. Tybarn actually looks like Tybarn pretty well. So that's cool. There being a free unit is just, it's meme-worthy. I can already tell that those are gonna be memes. And then after that it was like, oh wait, is that it? Yep. Yep, it is. So the introduction of Book 3 was like half of the fucking video. After that it was tickets, Eurofest, and you get a free 5-star. Did you know that if you complete Book 3, Book 3 Chapter 1, you can get air? Ooh, this is Flown to Dawn. Oh, let's keep pointing it out over and over. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. But yeah, I suppose that's about it. I just really hope they are going to a better direction now. But at this point, I'm just a fool for thinking that. At this point, IS has proven time and time again that this is not their goal. I suppose we'll have to wait and see, though. As per usual, have a nice one, everyone.